What's up, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another video on House at Dula. Glad to have you. I got Rooster behind me, guys. Okay, Rooster is done-ish, and man, I have been working my tail off, getting this thing on the road, getting it roadworthy, and I've got a ton of things to show you and tell you. Connor and I, though, are about to take Rooster on our trip to Mineral Wells. We're going out to our property. I'm going to drive it the whole way there. Should I do that? Probably not. Have I stretched his legs and done a run through, breakdown, shakedown? Yeah, I've done that. Around here, you know, in Mansfield, just on and off, but I decided, you know what? Let's load it up. We're just gonna drive it out there, see what happens. Has it been on the highway? Yeah, twice. I think it's been on the highway 2-3 times. It's not perfect, okay? I'll tell you all about it when we get there. I'll fill you in, show you everything we've done, give you the whole rundown on Rooster here. That's what we're calling it, by the way. It's Rooster, okay? It's the Red River Rooster, specifically. And road trip it. We're gonna do it. Alright, dude, I've got my old school cooler. So we got some drinks back there. When we stop and get food, we can put it in there, keep it cool. And luggage. I don't normally bring luggage. Usually we bring like a bin. Anyways,
that's gonna slide back. Yeah,
it'll be fine. No, it won't, because we'll be fine. I think we're good. I've spent the weekend here just checking fluids and stuff on it, make sure we're good to go. You think it's gonna make it, Connor?
Yep.
Do you really?
Uh-huh.
Okay. But I think I've got a broken motor mount now, because you know, now that it's running so well and everything has been shook down on it, and I'm talking about a lot of work, and I'm not going to fill you in right now. We're going to take this thing out to Mineral Well, to our property, get in the shop, and then we'll go over everything that I've done to this truck to get it to the point where it's at now, that hopefully it'll make the trip. It's an hour drive from here to our property, Mineral Wells. It's something like 60 miles or something like that from our door to the property's front door. Problem is, we're hitting a lot of major highways that cars here in Texas, at the speed limit is 75, so dudes are running 80 all day long, 80 to 85. We're not going to do that in this. We're probably going to do 65, 70 the whole way, which is fine. It's fine, right, Connor? We're not in a hurry.
Oh, no. I mean,
but the fluids are checked, brakes are working good. I'll tell you all about that debacle and all the other handful of debacles that I ran into with this truck, and it's a lot, okay? I've literally touched everything on this truck now, front to rear, and that's fine. But it is good. It is so good. It's really good. And I've locked the door. Even the door lock works. That's good.
You didn't lock my door.
Yeah, I did. I just unlocked it. So we're gonna get in the truck and we're gonna head that direction. Good Lord, Mike. Start heading that direction. Hey, what? I wasn't there yesterday. All right, man. I got a tachometer. I pulled this out of my Trino. Actually, everything I've put on this truck, I've tried to use from the garage. We got some tunes. That's from the neighbor. He handed this to me. Kevin here.
Kevin.
Hashtag Kevin neighbor. And yeah, he gave me a stereo, and it works. The tape player does not work, but that's fine. That's fine. It kind of works. It goes.
I mean, it's a radio. That's cool. It's not Bluetooth or anything.
No, but check it out, Connor. That works. So we can charge phones. That's cool. Really? Like I said, I put a tack in it. There's a lot. I'll go over it when we get there. I don't want to spoil it now. Let's just get to Mineral Wells. We'll put it in the shop, the new shop, with no electricity, but we're getting there.
I mean, there's electricity hooked up to it, but there's no lights.
We're getting there. We're going out there to check out Encore because they've terminated my power, but there's no circuits yet. But we got lots to do. I'm going to tell Mom bye. Let's get the truck warmed up, and we'll see you on the road.
Bye-bye.
Here, about halfway. Should crank right up. Yes, sir. All right, Connor, we're going to go to Chick-fil-A and get some breakfast, like we always do.
What are you going to get at Chick-fil-A?
Well, we'll always get chicken sandwich, honey biscuit, chicken sandwich.
I think what I'm going to get is just a regular, like, I kind of just want the chicken tenders. Yes, it's morning, but, like, I don't like the breakfast stuff. And a frosted lemonade.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So we got good brake pedal pressure here. Checked out my vitals. Vitals are good here. Brakes are great, actually, for four-wheel drums. It runs really good.
Yeah, it does.
We're not smoking, we're not leaking. Everything is good for now. But we got a long way to go. And I'll tell you about the little things that aren't good when we start heading out there.
I mean, the bumps are pretty bad.
Oh, they're not bad at all.
I mean, with the camera, yes, they are.
Well, we've lowered the suspension on it about 2 inches, about as low as I can on the front I-beams. So we're about this far from hitting the bump stops, but it's not hitting, that's the point. So the whole truck's been lowered. Again, I'll go over this when we get out there, but yeah, she rides like an F-250, man. Don't forget, it is a 3/4 ton pickup. Well, Connor, we made it 10 feet, but respect. All right, we're cruising, Connor. The traffic, that's Saturday. The traffic on the other side is horrible. I think my speedometer is off, showing 75, but I think we're doing about 60. It's about 10 or 15 miles an hour off. That's fine. We're not in a hurry. We're definitely not doing 75, but let's see what we're doing.
Concert.
Yeah. All right.
63, 64.
There you go. It's 10 miles off. Okay, we just shut it off. It's, you know, that's showing about, it's really like 210. Every notch is 5 degrees, so 210 is not overheating. So we're not in danger of overheating, but it's hot. I want to see it go down a little bit. It's going to climb because we just turned the motor off and stop spinning. It's going to sit there and heat soak for a minute, so let it cool off. We'll get some gas, no big deal. We'll go inside and check out the gas station, see if we can find a couple there. Ooh, she smells warm. But, you know, wouldn't call it overheating, not yet. She hot.
Yep.
Okay, everything's good though. Just let it cool off a minute and we'll head that way. All right, dude, we're back on the road. Got our temperatures down to 200 degrees, just letting it sit there. So it's fine. It just the sustained RPM, keeping it up that high, you know.
Yep.
So what we can do, we'll get up here. We gotta stop to get some groceries. Not that far off the road, and then from there, there's some back roads we could take to kind of keep it off the main highway, especially when you get really past Weatherford here, where people start doing 85. We're just gonna be going really slow, but that's fine. Ourselves a little parking spot in the shade because we're going to go into Brookshire's, get us some groceries to put in our cooler.
Yup.
And then we're about 30 minutes. We're about halfway there. We're doing okay. All right.
Cowboy hat.
No. They're just having a good old time playing in the pond, yeah? They're loud. Hey, we made it! She got a little warm, getting a little warm, but it's alright. We are here, and our ducks are, you know, doing duck noises.
It's hot in here.
Oh, it's warm in here. It's fine, though. Connor, look, we got power. Down the pole, over to the shop. If you're new to the series, this is our Rangoon Red 1967 F-250 with a confirmed 390 FE bored 60 over, so it's 400 cubic inches, C6 auto, and shortened to a short bed. This is a very old school hot rod muscle truck build, probably from the 70s or 80s, and a mix of 67 and 1971 parts. Someone made one truck from the two. But the truck is a true 67 with a 71 swapped green, short bed, 71 grill, and 71 dash. Everything else is 67. The truck was then repainted its original color, Rangoon Red, and left out for years for the sweet patina to develop. Alright man, we made it back in the shop. I'm here with Rooster. We made a 60-mile trip with really no issues, really at all. The truck started to get a little bit warm. 215, 220, maybe touch 225. We ended up just slowing it down. As soon as you slow it down a little bit and temperature start calming back down. Let's check it out. So guys, I have been busting my butt on this and I didn't film everything because to be honest, it was just way too much content. This isn't really a how-to series. Anyways, it's just kind of like a, hey, keep you up to date on what's going on in my life and keep you up to date on this project. But we've done a lot to it. Let's start from the nose of the bumper, move all the way back, and I'll kind of give you a rundown from the last video of everything that I've done to this truck to get it roadworthy and get it drivable, to get it out here. Man, up front, just cosmetically, not a whole lot was done. I did go ahead and put in new lenses for the turn signals. These turn signals were quite shot. They were cracked and broken, and this one was missing altogether. Just the bracket was on it, so went ahead and ordered a Scott Drake from Scott Drake. These they ended up working out pretty good. The buckets, put a new black coating around the outside of the buckets and aligned the headlights. The headlights are fine. I had a crack in the front bumper here. The bumper's in okay shape, and again, this is a 71 grill. That is, of course, not proper for a 67 that this truck is, but the 71 grill is a pretty common upgrade and kind of gives it a more modern, but I will tell you that if I ever come across a nice 67 grill, I'm gonna snag it. Fixed it with some weld cosmetically up front here. So let's just go ahead and get into the engine here, guys. So if you go back and watch my last video, most of the work I've been working on here has been under the hood of this truck. A lot of different things, man. So the starter, I made a video on that. We replaced the starter and flex plate on it, so separated the transmission to put a new flex plate on it because it had broken teeth that the starter had chewed off. It ended up being way worse than that. The starter actually broke and pieces of the starter were actually inside the bell house and grinding itself into the flywheel. So pulled that off, fixed that, got everything back together, started up, could not get the engine to run right no matter how hard I tried. Seafoam time. It ended up doing compression tests on all the cylinders. We have ran some seafoam in it. We're running Mr. Oil in the oil, and I've been chasing this mist. The engine's still not running right. I also since then have replaced the carburetor. My buddy here had a 600 CFM identical to what was on it before. Thought maybe that one was trash, and rather than rebuild it, I just swapped it out just to see if it would run any better. It ran exactly the same. It still has a mist, and the plugs are still pretty fouled. Next best thing to do here is start running a compression test on each one of the cylinders. So I've done that, starting from cylinder number 5 back here, so 5 through 8, and now we're doing kind of everything backwards, 1 through 4 here. All the cylinders so far have been really good. We've got 140 to 150 PSI on everything over here. One of them I think was 138. Over here we got 150 to 145 PSI, and then I hit cylinder number 3. Guys, she got 30 PSI. This cylinder has no compression. So there it is. I told you one cylinder was out. Now we know which one it is. This is a true dual exhaust, so it's gonna come out one side. I'm gonna put a glove over it, like this. Okay? And then, I'm gonna put a zip tie over it, like this. Now, I'm gonna go push air into that cylinder and come back, watch the footage, see if it inflates. Boy, it sure sounds like exhaust to me. I just reviewed the footage. That's pretty definitive. I don't know about you, but that exhaust valve is open. Like a lot. And lo and behold, number 3 back here had no compression. It actually had 30 PSI, had very, very little compression. So what did I do? Well, ended up pulling the head off, buying a used set of heads, doing a homemade lap valve job at home, putting new valve seals on it, and then checking to make sure that there was no leaks on any of the cylinders before putting it back together. All right, it has been a few days and my new to me assembled at home head is going through a water test right now. It has been sitting here with water in the chambers for 20 minutes or so, but remember we lapped the valves on this thing. I cleaned up the heads really good with a roll-lock pad. These things are awesome, by the way. These roll-lock wheels, 3M roll-lock. So I got everything cleaned up, all the surfaces cleaned up, really good on it. And the backside cleaned up. We could put a paint job on it. I'm gonna flip it over here in a minute and show you what I did with the valve springs. Of course, put new seals in it too. So this thing's ready to go. I am leak testing it right now as we speak, and there is no drops on it anywhere, no bubbles anywhere as it sits. That was good. These are sealing, guys. They are good. If anything, hell, they're gonna be 1,000 times better than that mess that was on it before. So that fixed that problem. Now we're running on all 8 cylinders. Well, it's still running like crap. And I'll be damned if it wasn't running exactly the same. Turns out, yeah, I checked the firing order on it. So you should probably do that after you first buy a vehicle. The firing order, they had number 2 and 3 on the firing order swapped here. So 2 cylinders were swapped and off. So I checked the firing order, corrected that, all of a sudden the engine comes to life. Imagine that. So got everything back together, put the head on, put the intake on, went ahead and painted this Edelbrock intake, Edelbrock 4-barrel aluminum intake, went ahead and gave it a blue paint job along with this head that I replaced. And I did the right thing and not replace this head because, well, it was fine and there was just no need to. I should rebuild them both, but did I? Nope. Again, the goal was just to get this truck running on the road. I'm not restoring it. I'm just building into a driver, and I want to make sure it's, you know, somewhat solid. But that's what I did. I ended up rebuilding one head, not the other. Well, I got everything back together. Had a horrible oil leak. It turns out the amount of RTV, the right stuff that I used for the china walls, wasn't thick enough. Ended up having to go back and doing it again, and I ended up using the cork this time. So what I did was actually put the cork on it the night before with some right stuff on the bottom. So glued the cork down to the china wall, and then came back the next day and finished the installation. So this intake manifold has been off twice already now, which means, you know, the coolant's drained and everything is put back together. Well, go out and go drive it for a little bit, test drive it, and had an exhaust leak over here that got worse and worse and worse. Well, I also put lowering springs on it. I'm kind of working my way back here. These are springs off a Explorer, a 91 Explorer, which gives it about a 2.5 inch drop. It probably dropped at 2.5 inches. Put those springs on, didn't bother replacing these shocks because these shocks are not shot. They're still good, actually, believe it or not. But yeah, so put the springs on it, and that loaded the truck so much. Look how much room I got on my bump stops right there. This bump stop was missing. In fact, these bump stops are off of Nova that my buddy had in his shop. Ended up borrowing them and using them, putting them on here. But nonetheless, this thing bottomed out. And also, my drag-link bar here was adjusted so that the studs were pointed straight up. Well, when they were pointed straight up, it decided to rip itself a nice hole in the header. So I welded the header back and still had an exhaust leak. So I had a hole in the header, about yay big. Ended up putting the exhaust back in and still had a header leak. Well, these junky old headers were hit so hard that it bent the flange out. So ended up pulling the header off, completely off the car, putting the flange up on a flat surface and on a machine table and truing it with a hammer. So I got that adjusted, and guys, I have worked on this a ton on the carburetor, getting it adjusted. It's pretty good. I'm still got a stumble off idle that I need to work on, and converted it while I was here to a throttle cable instead of the linkage, you know, the whole trapezoid linkage that comes on these FE motors. Got rid of that in favor for this custom job here. This is a low car cable going to a Chevy gas pedal that you'll see inside. Why did I do that? Well, the stock Ford one was broken. My buddy had a Chevy gas pedal in his shop. He said, here, it fit perfectly. We put it through a firewall, and it had a provision on it that pulled the cable from the inside of the cab versus going through the outside of the firewall and pulling on it. So that way I was able to use the low-car cable and keep everything inside the cab without having any kind of throttle linkage sticking out into the firewall, except for, you know, the cable itself. Up here, new master cylinder, came with the truck, ended up putting it in, bleeding it. When I bought the truck, it came with a different steering column, and I ended up just putting that one in because the shift linkage on it was completely trash. So the steering column that was in this truck was trash. It came with an extra one off, it looks like a 71 also. I put it in, and when I did that, the rag joint just disintegrated. So out with the old one, put a new rag joint in. That fixed the steering issues. So moving on to this side here, I didn't end up getting an extra piece here. I go on eBay and I'm looking for different trim, and if I find it, I just go ahead and grab it just so I can add it to the truck. You know, I'm still looking for a short bed trim here and a piece for the back of the bed back there, but I went ahead and got this one. If it's cheap enough, I'll just buy it. In fact, I didn't even bother taking the the lettering on it where it says 67 to 72, lower fender. But that's on there, that's kind of cool. It has a little bit of a rustle anyways. Wheels, I will talk about the front brakes real quick. Actually all 4 brakes. So I did do a brake job on this and check the bearings on all 4 corners. I'm missing a lug here. In fact, I'm just waiting on the right lugs to come in. This is an incorrect lug as well for these Indy wheels. And while I was at it, I polished it. This is just a simple polish with mother's polish. All I did was scuff these up with soap and water and a Scotch-Brite pad. Okay, that got them really clean. Just a Scotch-Brite pad and Dawn dish soap, and then ran a polishing wheel for your drill on it with mother's polish. So yeah, I thought they came out pretty good. I thought the wheels polished up pretty good. Man, let's go on inside. Let me show you what I've done to the interior of this thing. Yes, it's quite the remodel. I do say so myself. Well, yeah, not really. So I went ahead and put bench seat covers on it. This is an Amazon job, like everyone has, okay? It's nothing special. It's a saddle bench seat cover, okay? Or Mexican blanket, whatever you want to call it, it's fine. Okay, but anyways, we had this guy put on. I did take a moment. I had a big old hole in the seat here, so I took a second to, you know, do the proper thing and not fix that correctly, but stuff some foam in it, cover it up with some duct tape, and it is, I'm telling you guys, it's good as new now. Look at that. I mean, no rips, no tears. It is good as new. It's great. Moving over here. Hey, let's just look at the dash. Okay, hey, the dash looks good. Yeah, it didn't come like that. Nope, more money was spent. Put a cover in it because that one that was on it before, the one that was on it before was just completely trashed. Could not see through it at all. I took it out, tried to polish it. It was just old plastic. So I did. Just spraying I don't know, it was like 30 bucks. It wasn't horrible. I think I got this from Dennis Carpenter or something like that. I think it's CJ Pony Parts, actually. Anyways, but I got the cover for that. That's cool. Then, I really wanted the dash lights to work, and they wouldn't. No matter how hard I tried. All the lights worked, dash lights didn't work. Well, that's pretty common in these old Ford trucks. The dimmer switch, the dash lights all go through the rheostat on the back here. I took the whole assembly out and actually tried to clean it. And I've done this before. I've repaired light switches. I did it on my Trino back in the day, where at some point it's just cheaper, quicker, and easier to buy yourself a headlight switch because they're super common. It's a $15 part. Got it at O'Reilly's, literally picked it up within an hour from ordering it, came back, put it in, and voila, all my dash lights work. Of course, you can't see it right now because it's light in here, but dash lights work. Got the dome light working. Interior wise, let me show you the gas pedal. This is the Chevrolet, yeah, square box style gas pedal. You can see the hole there where the stock one is. I still got some wiring I gotta tidy up here, but it's fine, you know, okay, it's fine. Steering column had to be rewired, of course, because it's a 71 steering column and a 67 cab. That was easy though. The wires colors pretty much matched up. Went in and put this tack on it. Yeah, I had it laying around, guys. I mean, this was on my shelf. You know, it was at home. This was also in my Trino. Slapped it on there. Why not? Now I've got, you know, I've got tachometers. I got tacks. You know what I'm saying? Mechanical gauges were pretty good, except for when I put the intake manifold on. I ended up busting the oil line, so of course I had to replace the oil pressure line. It is a mechanical style, which I prefer. stereo I got from a guy next door. This thing does have tunes. I mean, it sounds horrible because I literally just jammed the speakers back here. And there are two baby ones sitting on top of the stereo, but you know, it's fine. I might put some speakers in the doors because I did not cut that hole, and I wish someone didn't do that. But since somebody did, and they're there, might as well fill it in with a speaker, I guess. So what's weird though is they put it right. They put it here. If you're gonna put a speaker somewhere, why not put it here? Why here? Well, because it goes into the cab. Otherwise, you know, you're projecting sound to the side of your bench. So I don't know. It's fine. Let's see. What else, man? What else are we doing here? The interior. I love the interior of these trucks. They're so cool, man. I love the interior. But I did put some rattle trap up here. I'm still shopping for a proper 67 headliner trim. I'm going to do the white trim with a white headliner, and I did get these. These are also OEM. Guys, I do all my shopping. I'm trying to get this whole truck repaired and restored with original Ford parts as much as I can because the aftermarket stuff is just junk. So these are original, and I think this is a great deal. I want to say I paid 40, 45, maybe 60 for these two. But yeah, I got these in. They're great. Of course, they're, you know, specific to a 67 because the short curve right here, because the mirror is smaller from the roof pedestal here. After 67, from 68 and up, they're all mounted on the steering. I mean, I'm sorry, on the windshield, and they got larger, which means this section got cut out more. So yeah, you can use a bigger one, of course, but I wanted the right 67 visors, so that's what I did. I got 67 visors. Okay. Moseying on down here, not a whole lot. We got some rust repair I got to do. I did go ahead and put a fire extinguisher. I know it's huge, but I figured me and my son were traveling with it. It's fine. I didn't make new holes. It had a hole in the, right there on the panel already. I just utilized existing hole and put the mount for it. The AC system here does not work yet. I haven't had a chance to go through it or really do much to it at all. The fan motor doesn't spin. It does nothing. So we have no AC and heat yet, but that will fix that. No big deal. Okay, no big deal. Moseying on over. Oh, I missed that. Yeah, not that you care. Let's be honest. I wrapped it. Okay. Yeah, that's me protecting the starter cable from the headers. On the passenger side here, I replaced the window regulator. This one was working, but kind of crap. I mean, it took a lot of effort, and you really had to pull the window on. I took it apart, cleaned it up, oiled it up, and whatever. Again, guys, eBay. I found this part used, and it is butter. I mean, I'm talking about it like pinky smooth. Look at that. I mean, it is easy. Goes up smooth. So that was well worth it. That is a nice smooth window regulator. Let's see. Let's move on back, huh? Shall we? Moving back to the bed, I haven't done a whole lot back here except for the rear brakes. The rear brakes we definitely need to stop and talk about for a second. I spent about 3 or 4 days on the brakes, not consistently. Okay, I'd be done in like, no. But I did spend some time on the brakes. I actually went in there to replace it. So it's a whole rear, in fact, I drove the truck without any rear brakes. What I did was the brake line that goes from the connection point actually goes from the block on the driver's side frame down the driver's side frame, and it goes to a splitter to the back. In the back it goes to the hose that's connected to the frame. It goes down to the axle, and then from the axle goes out to each wheel, right? You know all this, it's nothing special. But the connection, somebody replaced the line at one point, and it was twice as long as it should have been. So instead of cutting it, putting a new fitting on it, they looped it like all the way like close to the dry shaft, like you're looking down the bed like this, okay? And then it went to it. So it was a long line. So I ended up getting a new line, cutting it and fitting it properly against that rail, just so I can get fluid from the front to the back brakes. I tell you what, guys, this truck was running and driving pretty good. Once I got the motor fixed, the header fixed, the head fixed, the starter fixed, I got it good enough so I could start driving it around, and I did, but the brakes were horrible. I mean, it was rock hard because I had crimped the back line that hose I was going to replace. It just crimped it with the line I was going to replace. I crimped it and drove it with just front brakes only, and it was dangerous. I mean, it stopped, but it was not a good solid feeling. So after that, it was just kind of like high on my priority to get the truck's rear brakes fixed. So that's what I did. I ended up just tearing apart the rear brakes. And of course, this is a heavy duty Dana 60, which means you can't get the brake drums off without pulling the axles, which is of course a full floating axle, and it's not a big deal. In fact, it was pretty easy to tear apart. It was simple, you know, got this thing up on the lift, and all I did was just take this off. But I got in there and replaced the wheel cylinders because I know that the ones that were in here were locked solid, and instead of just repairing them, rebuilding them, I opted to just put new cylinders in it. Well, when I did that, of course, the brake pads were shot. You know where this is going. The brake pads were shot. The hardware was shot. Ended up putting new brake pads in it. Didn't want to turn the rotors. They had grooves in it. They looked like they'd been turned a couple times. It's hard to find somebody that can turn brake rotors right now anyways, this day and age, without taking it to a machine shop, waiting a few days, etc. You can't take big, heavy-duty drums down the street to your O'Reilly's or AutoZone anymore to get them turned. Unfortunately, they could do rotors, but not drums. So just to avoid the hassle, I ended up just buying new drums for it. Well, not a big deal. Got those put on. You do have to press the studs out and press them back in from the hub, the wheel studs, pressed into the drum itself. I ended up having a problem with that side, but this side was not too much. But hey, long story short is, yes, I got the brakes fixed, adjusted them, bled all four corners properly. Took a long time, you know, bleeding it, and the brakes are great now. They're really good. I got confidence stopping this thing, any kind of situation. I don't want to lock them up on the highway, so keep your distance. But hey, I felt confident taking my son out here. Not a big deal. Also, the back, I wanted to drop it. So obviously this is a 15 by 10, okay? This is old school, 80s, or shoot, even 60s and 70s style, man. I mean, this is the look, especially back in the day, man. This is the look that fits the truck. If you were gonna hot rod this truck back in the 60s and 70s, up through the 80s, you know, these slotted wheels are what you would have gone for. And you would have put big, fat, wide tires, jacked up the back end, you know, like an old school funny car, put smaller wheels in the front. Well, you know, that look is not exactly in anymore, but I still wanted to keep the look and just kind of pay homage to the person who took the time to build this truck before I bought it and shorten the wheelbase to a short bed. I mean, somebody took time to build this truck, put headers on it, you know, shorten the drive shaft, shorten the frame, put on a green short bed on top of it, paint the whole thing red, let the patina fade together. So I wanted to keep that, but I wanted to lower it. So again, I dropped the front end about as low as I can get. If I'll go any lower, I've got to go ahead and drop I-beams. And that's what I should have done to begin with. You really don't want to drop these the way that I dropped them with Explorer springs, because like I showed you, your clearance is like this. And then your steering is like this to your header. And just as I've proven, it will put a hole in your header. But I did drop it, and I went ahead and dropped it with some shackles. A lot of guys will have a problem with drop shackles because I hit the bed. Now maybe because this truck has been swapped and how they're mounting it on with, you know, wood, then, you know, maybe that's why I've got the extra room. But I got the extra room here. I put a 2-inch drop shackle on it, which honest to God, dropped it 1.5 inches. This is not a full 2-inch drop. You can see the shiny new drums, but they're in there. And I fixed, you know, there's a crack in the bed. I welded it shut, stuff like that. And yeah, the axle's not leaking. That's from me refilling it before we went here. But this truck leaks nothing. This is the only car I own that doesn't leak anything right now. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so the truck was dropped 1.5 inches in the back. It can use another drop because somebody rolled the fenders for me. Isn't that nice? That's nice of them. So yeah, the fenders have been rolled. So I've got room to drop it a little bit more. I would like to get the tire tucked, yay, you know, but right now it looks good, and it's still a truck. It's a farm truck, you know. I think the stance looks way better on it. If you go back and look when I first bought the truck, not only was the truck a lot higher, but you'll also notice that the front wheels on it were, the cast on the camber on it was extreme positive. So it was like this on both ends, right? You know, this thing was just sitting high. So that was probably because, honest to God, the I-beams were probably bent. And lucky for me, you know, because the camera was like this on both wheels, then I knew that dropping it would probably correct it. Well, dropping it actually fixed it almost perfectly. I mean, these wheels are straight up and down. So instead of, you know, doing the right thing and fixing your I-beams, no. It also could be because the truck was heavier. I mean, that's a logical explanation. The truck easily lost some weight when it lost its its bed, and when it also got some aluminum parts on the engine. You know, things have been stripped. It's, you know, it is what it is. It lost a little bit of weight. Maybe the truck got a little higher, and therefore I had. Anyways, but it's been fixed just by lowering springs. I think lower springs made it perfect. That's it, man. It stops. It goes. The engine's got a lot of torque. I've determined it's probably a 355 gear. Man, moving out back, we've got, well, nothing. I took the trim off. I will say that. It had trim around the tailgate right through here. And I took a second to remove it because I was missing the center. There's a 3-piece strip on the top. 1, 2, that goes across the handle here. And the third one that goes across here. I was missing the center one and this one. And honest to God, just because I didn't want to spend the money on new trim, because it would look really weird. Nice new shiny pieces on the back of this tailgate. I just took it off. And I left the Ford emblem in the front. Yes, it left holes, but that's fine. I don't care. It looks good in my opinion. I'm just gonna leave it like this. Did a lot of work on the rear tail lights. Ended up taking these out, painting the bucket silver, and rewiring them. The wires were shot. So in fact, one of them I ended up having to buy a new back because it was rusted out. But the tail lights work really good. And man, I think, is that it? Is that, no, it's not it. Let's look at the gas tank. What else did I touch? Well, the gas cap was shot, of course. This is a new locking gas cap and a new seal. These are somewhat universal. The gas tank, this needs to be replaced. I haven't got around to it. That needs to be replaced. I put a new fuel sending unit in it because it did not work prior. Now it does. So fuel gauge engages. Fuel gauge, it reads. I don't even know if I mentioned the tires. I don't think it matters, but I did put tires on it, of course. Yeah, the tires were shot on. I went with the Cooper Cobras, the go-to. I went with a white wall out because it fits the truck style, man. And I went one size taller in the front. If you go back and look at the video when we first picked this truck up, the tires were at 255. Yeah, there were 245s on the back. And they were quite a bit narrower, so like not as tall. So I went up a size on them just to have the same width to fit the 15 by 10, but a little bit taller. Man, guy, I'm telling you, man, that's it. That is really it. This truck is really, really good. It's a good driver. I just think it's cool as snot. I cannot get over this truck. I love it. But don't worry, this thing is not going to take over the channel. This is probably about all you'll see on it. I'll just show you some updates every now and then as time allows. But the plan, what's the plan, Mike? Do you want to know? I'm going to poppy patina this thing. I'm going to do a satin finish on it, then make gloss, matte, and satin. In my opinion, gloss is too glossy. It looks cheesy, kind of fake, just my opinion. Matte looks too matte. Okay, you can't really tell I did anything. It's just like it looks now, sort of, but a little bit more protected. Satin is kind of in between, man. We're gonna do a satin finish on it. An in-between finish. What's up, dude?
How you doing?
How you doing? I'm just talking about Poppy's patina we're gonna put on this truck. Actually, the video is pretty much over, but I'm just telling the viewers, if anyone cares, which they probably don't, what the future of this truck is and what I plan to do to it to finish it up. But we're gonna fix this hole, okay? Let's just talk about the elephant in the room here. Like literally, it's staring right at you. I know it is.
Didn't notice it till you said something.
Yeah, you did. Don't lie. I'm gonna fix it. I've been looking for a fender that somebody's wrecked, and all I need is this piece down here. They used to make it. They used to sell a section just like this, and you could just buy it, tack it in. But the truck is just cool. I mean, we've got some, you know, nose wear and tear here, some primer showing that it's now looking kind of pinkish. Same thing up here, and I'll show you a picture right now of when the truck was washed and we got it wet. But you can see how much it brings out these colors. It's got a nice color. We got some pink here, we got some metal, we got some primer, we got some red, we got some more red, and we got some itchy, you know, scratched off paint here. I just think it's cool as snot. The patina on it is really cool. Yeah, you see purple? I see something.
I see pink and purple.
Yeah.
Mostly purple though.
And what's really cool, and this is what I think, Connor. I think that this truck sat in a carport.
Okay.
It was covered, except when it was either covered on the carport leaked, or the carport, you know, just based on where the sun set on this side of the hood. So the sun kind of beat down on the nose of it just because of the carport. And when it got wet, it got more wet here. I think it was just partially covered is my point, because you can see where this pink kind of drips. See down there, or that purple, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
It kind of goes down like so. Anyways, I think it's really got really cool patina. I want to protect it, and yeah. And then you got the green bed. See, I mean, they put a green bed on it. They didn't bother painting the floor, because why would you? Or, you know, the fenders here. I mean, look how solid this bed is, dude. It's so solid. So yeah, we're gonna pop these patina this thing and in a satin and just rock the red and green. Put some window strip in it. Probably put a new windshield in it. This one's pretty scratched. You can't tell. It looks pretty good. We got some fogginess going here. We got some separation in the glue, the different layers inside of here. Oh, AC wise, I do want to get the AC working. I don't know if I want to get this AC unit working. Depends on the shape it's in. I would like to restore that AC unit because it is a Ford unit. I would like to get that AC unit working, AC and heat. That would be sweet. If not, I may look into some homemade job, which I may just build my own AC system for it, because I learned with Eagle Brews that it ain't that hard. This has been, I like to find this guy, because that one's like, you know, like this on me. Like, super cool. Super cool it. Yeah, it's hyper cool. It's hyper and super. So it's like you. What? It's hyper and super cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, hyper and super coolant. But it'll run up to 30 degrees cooler. Hey, if we get 5 degrees cooler out of this, that'll help us out. Yeah, what do you think, buddy? You gonna take one of our toys out on our little go-kart track we built?
You know I am.
All right, I'm gonna take Orangey, my little Orangey mini bike. You can take a go-kart and we'll go tear up our go-kart track we cut in the trees back there. That'd be fun.
I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons.
All right, we are heading home. Nice little stay out here. So wish us luck. Been a great video. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you had a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys next time. I got Eagle Brews stuff coming out very soon. Very soon. Back to Eagle Brews. Talk to you later, man.
It's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on.
That stuff actually worked. Might be here in a minute, Connor. You want a water?
Yes.
And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet.
Train.
I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah.
Water.
Finally.
Built to thrive, yeah.